Jojo's Bizarre Adventures, Episode 5. Now, in my previous review, I talked about Hamon. I said that for me, Hamon was a very generic ish form of technique. I also said that in other mangas and animes, these kind of techniques have been used in a much more better way and have been used in more creative ways than in JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. For example, Hunter x Hunter, Naruto. So, for me, I was expecting to show some creativity in future episodes. I was expecting that, and we kind of do get some creative uses of Hamon. I mean, I won't say creative, but interesting uses of Hamon. Okay, it's not just Hamon, but it's not just JoJo's abilities that are being kind of explained or explored in this episode. We also find out that Dio has his own new abilities, and yes, Dio shows up in this episode, and his abilities are to counter. He designed this ability. He made this ability to counter Hamon. Okay, I'll get that in a bit. Let me just explain it to you what is going on with our heroes. So these guys arrive in this small village where they are lured in by a child. He steals their bag, which has a lot of money in it, and when that lures them in this secluded area. And by the time that happens, sun sets and Dio arrives. So while chasing that kid, both Dio and Zapili kind of show their Hamon abilities. Now, what Zapili shows is he can walk on water, and he walks in a very funny way. By the way, he walks like a fucking bunny, you know, kind of like that. So it was really funny to see the way he walks. Uh, so even Jojo can do that technique, but not as good as Apili, because he doesn't really have that much of an experience to do such things like that. But you know what, Jojo kind of does show a creative or rather new way of transferring Hamon, which kind of reminds me of Leoryu's technique, his Nen technique, which is that he finds the pulse of his opponents and he transfers his attacks through the ground or through any surface around it. Same way over here. Jojo also kind of um, calculated the distance that he is in, and he punched uh, to this mountain which this kid was climbing, and transferred his Hamon, and that Hamon kind of shocks that kid back. And is that supposed to be a tribute to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures by Togashi, that he kind of used this technique? I mean, I guess it might have inspired. I know JoJo's Bizarre Adventures did inspire a few animes and mangas. I'm pretty sure about that. But to think that Togashi would actually kind of use this technique to get inspiration for his own character, that actually is pretty cool. Anyways, so what we see is that Dio arrives, and he's not alone. He comes with like a shit ton of zombies with him. Okay, and Zapili goes straight ahead and attacks him. And when he does, he tries to use his overdrive. Dio freezes his arm. Now the explanation how he freezes it is it's really bullshit. But go along as he says. Okay, it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Things are going to be over the top and stupid. Just go along with it. So what he says is that he vaporizes all the moisture and heat from his body. Yeah, and with that, the temperature of his body freezes. I mean, it goes down and down and down, and it starts getting cold, and it gets so cold that things freeze. It also kind of reminds me of Rukia's technique. Her technique is her Zanpakuto's powers are also to lower Rukia's own body temperature, and that lowering of her body temperature kind of freezes the surrounding air and surrounding environment around her. So, yeah, I got two anime and manga references in this one same episode. Hmm. Anyway, so what we see is that Dio somehow, I don't know how, maybe the Chinese medicine guy told him about Hamoon, but somehow he knows about Hamoon and he knows how to counter it by stopping the blood flow by freezing it. And okay, fine, I could get that by freezing someone's arm. You basically just stop the circulation. Okay, that is understandable. How the fuck does he knows about Hamoon? Can I get an explanation, please? Because it's just like, okay, I am Dio, I know everything. It's not like that. I mean, he has to know from somewhere about Hamoon, right? It's not like Jojo researched on it, and in his journals where he got the information of the mask, there was written about Hamoon as well. It wasn't over there, you know. It could have been derived from the Chinese guy, but then why the fuck didn't he use Hamoon to begin with? I mean, if he knows what Hamoon is, shouldn't he also be know how to use it? I mean, I'm just speculating. Okay. Anyway, so Zapili's arm gets frozen and it kind of bleeds as well. So Speedwagon. This guy is so dramatic in this episode. Like, he's like, okay, I am not going to stand over here and look like a spectator. I'm going to do something, and if it takes my life to do that, I'm ready for it. And the way the more the amount of drama this guy creates, you know, it's quite funny. It's amazing, and the most the over the top moment where he like puts his Zapili's arm on his chest so that the blood circulation could start again. Which, by the way, I don't know how the fuck that works because his arm was completely frozen. It's dead. It's gone. But it's just fucking bizarre adventures. I don't think that logic plays any part in this. But that moment was actually quite emotional and funny, to be honest with you. So, in this episode, Dio introduces us to these two characters, which are zombies. They basically were warriors and great, powerful warriors, and their job was to protect the Mary, the Queen of Scots, and basically they were executed by Queen Elizabeth, and these two zombies are named. They are named as Broford and Tarkus. If I'm not wrong, that's what their name is, and they are wicked strong. So basically, this Broford guy, he has these long hair, which he can manipulate the way he wants, and he can even suck blood from it. Yeah, and this Tarkus guy, he's super strong. He's this huge giant who can, lift giant rocks from just one finger and like crush it with one finger. So basically, this episode also kind of gives some information over the backstory. Like, uh, they, they were under the wing of Mary, uh, and she was executed, and they were falsely, they were basically they were told that if you guys surrender, we will free Mary. But they already killed her, and when they were on the death row, they were going to get their heads being chopped off. They kind of said that, oops, we're sorry to tell you guys, we lied. Mary is already fucking dead. And the betrayal kind of made them go a bit evil when they came back to life. Now Jojo right now is fighting against Broford, and he is having a hard time. He gets thrown around a bit, he kind of gets his ass kicked a bit, and he falls in water. Now over here he kind of does something which is, I think it's really bizarre. I mean, the show's name is Bizarre, but Bizarre Adventures, but this is quite bizarre. He goes in water, and it's very necessary for you to breathe to create hormone, right? So what he does is that he goes down and finds an air pocket within the ground. He says that, okay, this was a mining village, right? So there must be some small nicks and corners where you can find some air. So he kind of digs in, and he finds air in the ground, and he breathes that, and he says that in water, hormone energy would be more potent. It would flow more easier than in a regular environment in air or something like that. So he uses this overdrive technique within the water, and that's where the episode ends. So the episode was actually quite fun. They did kind of showed some new ways of using hormone. I still think that it still lacks a lot in its usage, but it was a fun episode and I really liked it. So what do you guys think about this episode? Please write your comments and like this video if you liked it. Till next time.